Okay, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for taking the time. This is kind of unique for us, hosting two webinars in 1 week, especially midweek on Wednesday. So we have a lot of great things to talk about, as always. And today's going to be a little different, a little unique, because we're going over a brand new lead platform that we are all very, very excited about introducing our agents to. So, it's we've all been in the industry for many years, some, a year or two, some 40, 50 years, like Carrie, my father. And, the first question that always comes up, right, it's no secret, is commissions and leads, right? I mean, it's just like number one and two, and there's nothing we can do or say about it. We always try to take care of our agents with our direct IMO contracts as far as commissions and advances go. And then when it comes to leads, there's no perfect recipe, right? And we all know this, and we've all been around long enough to see and hear about the different platforms, from final expense to mortgage protection to social media leads. And you see pricing, anywhere from $5, $3 for reused leads or shared, all the way up to $250. And it's very, very hard to tell, wait a minute, is there an IMO behind this that's maybe keeping all the great leads for themselves and then, selling off the extras? Or is it a call center generated lead from a different country, on the other side of the globe, right? We just don't know, probably 50% of the time. And then what happens when we finally land on a good program, a good vendor, right? Usually it's great for 3 months, 6 months, 9 months. And then all of a sudden, we're not getting replies back, or we're not getting the lead quality that it once was, or maybe we paid for 10 leads, but we only got 2. And 3 months later, 8 leads are still missing. And, you hear so much about this part of our industry. And trust me, and I as I tell you this, right, I'm in the business almost 23 years, more than half my life. And, we go out and we try to do our due diligence, right? And we try to have some of our agents pilot the various programs. And then finally, when we come across a good vendor, right, we then say to our agents, hey, guess what? We have a launch webinar in 2 weeks. We found a great vendor. Our agents are having good success off this. And then things change, okay? So, here we are, 2022, obviously still in this pandemic, right? Hopefully coming out of it in the very near future. We still haven't found that perfect program, and we still have vendors that maybe were great. Okay, I'm not going to say excellent, because in my opinion, it doesn't exist. And then all of a sudden we have agents complaining, sending emails, leaving comments, saying, Bill, there's got to be something you can do to help me. And, there's only so much we can do. Our hands are tied at the end of the day, because this is not a Levinson owned company, right? It's a third party vendor. So anyway, we had one of our agents who we all know and trust very well. He's been on podcasts and trainings, and he said to me, he said, Bill, there's this program I've been using for years now, and I've had good success from the program. They're U.S. based. The owner is in the U.S., and he says to me all the time, hey, if you know anyone, let me know. And, he checks in on me, follows up. Are the leads good? Is everything okay? And he said, I just haven't seen that type of service and lead quality from any vendor that I've ever worked with. So anyway, that was enough for me, right, to start to open the doors, if you will, and have a conversation with Andrew, the owner, who's on with us today. Then I find out 2 other agents are also using the program, and the other 2 agents said the same exact thing. So that's when I took it a step further, and I said, you know what, we have to introduce the program to our agents. The time has come. And, I had a conversation with Andrew a few times already, and we spoke about the discounted pricing. And I told Andrew right off the bat, I said, hey, listen, we don't want to make a penny. I don't want to make $1.50 off these leads. What I want to do is pass the savings along to our agents, right? To make sure the value add is there, right? When you're working with Levinson as an IMO, as a partner, call it whatever you want, we need to make sure all of our tools and platforms and lead programs, if they cost money, right, there has to be a discount to where it's worthwhile for you, right? And I always talk about this. I say it's kind of like a Costco or the neighborhood supermarket. So we negotiated an awesome price with Andrew, and we're going to go over all of that, but it's just about 25% off the retail price, where if you found Andrew on the street, okay, you're going to save almost 25% if you are an active Levinson agent. So again, value add, most important, is there, right? And as important is the quality of the leads. And these are all social media generated leads. So that was music to my ears, especially now in 2022, right? Because we know everyone is on social media, especially Facebook. So everything I needed to hear was there. And then this was the icing on the cake for me, the new Ringy CRM tool, right, that we also offer at a discounted price. Well, you know, I'm friends with the CEO, and it's a very small world. They spoke at our expo. We have trainings. In fact, we have 4 more trainings coming up that we're going to talk about later. But it turns out Ringy is integrated into Andrew's lead program as well, which means if you have a Ringy account, right, and you purchase leads, they're going to shoot or stream right into your CRM platform. So what that means is if you set the text system or the dialer, which you have to obviously initiate, or the auto email that goes out. That means by Friday, if you get your leads, right, let's say Friday, 5 p.m., Monday morning, you come into the office or you're a 3rd bedroom converted home office, the leads have already been either text, emailed, right, and or called, totally up to you, and you have appointments ready to start quoting on Monday morning. So there's so many things you can do between Ringy and then Andrew's program. So anyway, that was what did it for me, and I hope that you all think this is worthwhile and it's worth a shot for you. I think you're going to love the platform, and every agent that I've spoken to so far had nothing but great things to say. So that's why we have Andrew, and we're introducing his platform today. Let's jump right in. What I want to do is we're having our question of the day at the end, so make sure you stay on. I have the new Amazon Fire 8 we're giving away, plus a prospecting book on us if you answer the question correctly. And yes, the question has to do with the slides that we're talking about today. So very important stuff. Make sure you're paying attention. Ask questions. Use that Q&A pane, right? You might have to expand it. Ask questions as we go. We're going to pick a few questions before we let Andrew go so we can ask them live. And then, of course, at the end, if we do not get to you during the webinar, we will answer every single question by the time we hang up, and then you'll get a thank you email before the day is up with all of the information included, where you can get started as early as this afternoon if you're an active Levinson agent. Okay, active means you have at least one carrier appointment. Okay, let's move right in over to Carrie's Corner. Love this editorial, and he loves it too. So this is Carrie once a month, right? My father, Carrie, we all know and love. So he puts out his editorial, and we all speak to Carrie about this, and we say, listen, right? You've been in the business 50 years, okay? Tell us the good, the bad, the ugly. We want to hear these real life, right, articles that are 100% facts, right? Because he's been in the trenches, right? The old MetLife days, driving around in the 84 Cadillac Eldorado with the tire in the back and with the tie that stops at his belly button and a chocolate brown suit, right? We remember that. Well, I barely remember, but I see pictures. Anyway, that's what these articles are all about. And one of my favorites, right, was May, volume 21. Carrie is here for you when you need him the most. So here he shares some real life agent stories that I think you're going to love to hear and you can relate to. So if you haven't checked that one out, you have to read it when you can. And again, let us know your thoughts, especially Carrie loves to hear from you all. It makes his month. Okay, so please reach out to him and share your comments. Okay, moving forward. So these are some of the latest LIMRA statistics. Okay, and obviously, we know what COVID and this pandemic has done to our industry. Okay. And yes, it's a horrible, horrible thing. And I'm sure you know people who have been affected by this, maybe lost a loved one, a friend, a family member, right? Which is horrible and so unfortunate. But what it also has done is it changed our industry for the better, right? Technology, underwriting has changed, okay, and forever, which is amazing because you look at 30, 40, 50 years, these insurance companies were like dinosaurs, right? They were so slow to get an e-app and a drop ticket. And what this did, it showed us within 10, 12 months, all of a sudden, every carrier has an e-app, a drop ticket. You're seeing non-med limits go to a million, 3 million, 5 million. Things have changed, right? So this means if you're an insurance agent, you have to leverage these resources, these changes, the new technology shift, right, in our business. And what you also have to do is market and brand yourself on social media and through online SEO marketing or your website, or you really should be doing all the above, but you have to know what changes are available out there. And behavior patterns for consumers is huge because that's going to tell you how you need to shift your marketing approach. Okay, so I'm going to just talk about two highlighted areas here. Almost half of all Americans are more likely to buy life insurance if simplified underwriting is used. Okay, huge. We have our non-med underwriting cheat sheet. You got to use that. Okay, we also have three quoting engines and software platforms that will help you quote. Because listen, at the end of the day, these leads are non-med up to $1 million, but it could be term life, it could be IUL, could be term with living benefits, it could be whole life, IUL with living benefits. The list goes on, but you have to have our software up and running and ready to pivot and ask the consumer questions. Okay, another big one here. Let's go to the bottom section, highlighted. The top reason people give for not purchasing coverage is that it's too expensive. Yet, more than half of Americans overestimate the cost of life insurance threefold. What does that mean? That means your marketing should show some example premium rates with some of these A++ term carriers, right, that go down to $11, $15, $22 for 250,000, right? Show these consumers the real price of a 20, 30-year term policy. And usually their mind is blown. And guess what? You open the door for a new application, right? A new client. And then, of course, you talk about conversion down the road or living benefits now. Shift gears, pivot, and make the sale. It's huge. Okay, let's move forward here. I don't want to rant because Andrew has a lot of information to cover. What's new at Levinson? I'm going to just talk about a few new things. By the way, everything is going to be in your thank you email tonight in your inbox. If you don't have it, it could be in your spam or junk folder. If you do not get this at all after checking both sides, please call us. We probably have your incorrect email address. Okay, a couple things though I want to talk about. So your family bank sales strategy is on fire right now. Okay, so I would say between YFB and then Mary Reed's sales strategy, where they do a lot of the heavy lifting for you. If you know a guy or know a girl, right, that maybe could qualify or wants to speak about maybe $100,000 estate planning policy, or they want to talk about tax saving strategies, okay, these two concepts are no-brainers, and the average commissions are $100,000 to $200,000, okay, on the low side. So this will change your year. You got to leverage this stuff and check out the trainings. Very important. Okay, let's move over to the right side. So real quick, yes, Carrie's Corner, Volume 21 just released. Also, the Ringy CRM tool is a game changer. Okay, if you're working lead programs or you're working our orphan leads or you're buying second chance leads, whatever the case is, I would put everything into Ringy because what it's going to do, it works like a sifter. Okay, think about if you put 100 or 1,000 prospects, into Ringy, right, and let the system do its job, almost like an automated assistant, okay, on full speed, fifth gear overdrive, okay? What it's going to do, it's going to sift out Who are the real clients? Who replied back to a text or email and said, Bill, I want to hear more. I want a quote. Okay. And the average is about 5 to 10%. So you put 1,000 prospects that were sitting on a shelf collecting dust, and you're going to get 50 to 100 real life prospects that say, Bill, I want to hear more. Remember those Limmer statistics. Okay, this is going to cut through all the BS and find out who's real and who's not. Okay, if you set it up properly. And again, use that Levinson discount code because it's going to save you, what is it, $300-400? Okay, no brainer. Plus, Andrew's program integrates right into your Ringy CRM. So again, very, very excited. Okay, we also have 2 new agent meetings. We're doing kind of unique. We're doing 2 live versions here locally in South Florida. And then for those of you that are not local, we're doing virtual versions of the same training. One is with Allianz, one is with the new AIG. So great stuff to talk about. You remember Joe Ross. He was our keynote a few years back. He's amazing. Joe Ross is going to be on as well. So, in fact, you will see the invite this week going over both of those trainings. So those will be well worth time spent. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. I want to introduce our featured speaker. Andrew is joining us, and he's going to go over his lead program from A to Z so everyone is comfortable and hopefully ready to place their first order by this afternoon. Andrew, you there, buddy?
Yes, sir. Let me share my webcam real quick.
Okay.
Awesome. Good deal. Can you guys see me?
Yep, we can.
Good deal. Okay, awesome. Thank you so much, Bill. I really appreciate it. We're excited we're going to talk about some things today that I hope that hopefully will hit home. Hopefully will make a lot of sense to you and why agents are having success. I'm going to cover 3 topics, very simple. What is the lead, right? Like what is it that you would be buying? What does it look like? Kind of what comes with it. The second thing is going to be how it's generated. I think that's important, the journey that a prospect takes in our process and why that creates higher intent. And we're going to talk about that. And last thing we're going to talk about is how to work the lead. You know, tips and tricks, things that are doing well. A lot of that's going to be a review, probably for a lot of you who've been in the industry for a while. At the end of the day, you want a lead where someone knows what they're filling out, why they're filling it out, and they did fill it out, right? Someone who actually says, yes, I wanted more information, right? And so let me explain to you what this lead is. I'm calling it a non-med term lead, but it's really a non-med life insurance lead because you're going to sell IUL, you're going to sell probably some final expense cases when you've got some of those older leads who've got maybe a little bit of health problems, and you're going to have to transition those conversations. It's no different than you would if you were in a house on a mortgage sale, right? A mortgage protection case or something like that. They got a $200,000 mortgage, and you're like, okay, this person can't get a $200,000 policy because of her health. So you're gonna have to learn how to transition that conversation, and that's very simple to do. So what this lead is. So let me back up and give you a little story. So I was an agent for 10 years, and I was searching, trying to figure out, you know, how to find a good replacement for the mortgage protection lead, because I loved that sale because it was a higher quality prospect than the final expense person. They bought bigger policies than the final expense person. And honestly, it was an easier sale. Like I did final expense for years, I did mortgage protection for years, and got into some advanced sales as well. A lot of the stuff that you guys are talking about. And, you know, the thing is that I didn't even mean to get in the lead business. I started doing leads, and I let a couple friends of mine in the business try them. I said, hey man, try these out. They had success and just kind of evolved into what it is today. And now we're just strictly a lead company. That's all I do. I have a team of people that help me, you know, with the orders. So as they come in, we've got a very fast process. If you order any day of the week, 7 days a week, we're on it, and within 24 hours, typically your leads will start flowing. So by the next day, so we're on it. We're Johnny on the spot when it comes to that, because I was an agent and I would like to be treated that way as well. And so let's talk about, like I said, what the lead is. So we wanted to target the same audience, right? When it comes to target somebody who just had a mortgage transaction, whether it was a refinance mortgage, or they just purchased a new home, that's very difficult to do online. Because if you look at how a mortgage protection lead is generated, it's based off of homeowner transactional data. Well, that's not something that's out on the internet. Okay, it's in the county courthouses, it's in, you know, things like, some of those are online, but those aren't something that we can index and target on a social media platform. So I got to thinking as an agent, I was like, okay, we're selling non-med term in most of these homes with living benefits. Why don't we just try to create a lead for that? And so that's what, and back in 2018, we started doing this lead, and I started as an agent for myself using this lead, and it's very simple. But what we do is we put a non-med life insurance offer up to $1 million in front of an audience. It's very simple. People ask me, you know, what is it? What makes this program great? I guess you could say is we just tell them what it is up front. Now, granted, most people in America don't wake up every day saying, I hope I see a life insurance ad, or I hope a life insurance agent calls me, or I hope an agent knocks on my door, right? And so it's not a normal conversation. It's not a normal thing that the American public talks about, I guess you could say. But we wanted to put a direct offer because there are people out there who are looking for it. And so we put our offers are a non-med life insurance offer up to $1 million. And when they click on that, they go to a landing page. We'll talk about that in just a second. And well, we can actually go ahead and transition to that. And so what happens is when you talk about the journey of the prospect, let's talk about real quick the journey of a mortgage protection mailer. So they get the piece of paper, or they get the envelope in the mail, they open it, they read it, they fill it out, they give a lot of good information. They have to fold it back up, put it in another envelope, and then they have to walk out to their mailbox and pull the little flag up, or they have to go to the local post office and drop it in. In other words, that's a lot of steps, that's a lot of processes, and you would call that very high intent. They had multiple, so each step that they did, we would call those micro commitments. Okay, and so with our process, I wanted to duplicate that as much as possible, which obviously it's an online process. So you can't, there's nothing to mail, but I want to make sure that they have a lot of degree of intention. And so what happens is they see an ad about non-med life insurance, they click on it, they go to a landing page. We actually talk about living benefits. We talk about critical illness. We talk about different things that involve a living benefits policy, okay? And we educate them on that page, and then they click start, and they have to answer a question, and then they answer another question, and then they answer another question, okay? And those, just to give you those data points, we get their first and last name, their occupation, their desired amount of coverage, their age, the state they live in, their zip code, and we'll talk to you a little bit about that here in a minute, their email, their phone number, and their best time of day to call. Each one of those are a separate question in our process. So every time someone clicks on an ad, fills out a blank, clicks a button, those are micro commitments. So in our process, they've clicked on an ad, they've read, they've clicked start, they filled out some information, and they had to click next to go to the next question. They had to fill out some information to click next. They had to do that multiple times, and at the end, they submit us their information. When that happens, you get an email, and we send it to Ringy. Okay, it's simultaneous. And so, but what happens in that journey is no one can accidentally fill out our forms. Okay, there's a thing on social media right now that are called lead forms, where a person can click on an ad and it pops up a form within the application or within that platform. And it actually has pre-filled amounts of data in it, and you just review it and click submit. So there's not a lot of degree of intention, right? And so what we did was we take them off platform. So while they're scrolling, looking at pictures of their grandkids or pictures of their friends' kids or whatever, or, you know, they're looking at where so-and-so went on their Memorial Day vacation, whatever, and they see this relevant ad about life insurance that they are looking for. When they click on that ad, they go off platform, okay, to our sites. So now we've taken their attention away from social media. Now it's on our insurance page, okay? And so we take that, and so once that happens, they click submit, it goes to your email. You'll have a Google Sheet, which is a master list of your leads in that email, and then it'll simultaneously also go to your Ringy integration. What I'll do is once you purchase your first set of leads, and if you're a Levinson agent, I may have you reach out to us. We'll give you the steps to that later, but I'll send you a video, or I can give it to the Levinson group and have them distribute as necessary. It's a very short video. It shows you how to set up your Ringy integration to send us what we need, so we can make sure we get it to your Ringy account. Super easy. It's like a 2 or 3 minute video. I've had multiple agents use it, and it works just fine. And so that's how the lead is generated. It's very simple. You say, well, what makes this a good lead? Well, there's no like, we're not hiding anything. It's a non-med life insurance offer that we talk to them about living benefits, and then they give us their information requesting more information. That's it. So it's pretty direct. Like, there's no games about it, right? You'll see a lot of file expense companies and a lot of different companies use a lot of like they use language that's very vague, and so it could be very it can be misconceived by the audience. And so it's a trick they'll use to get more leads, but ours is very simple. Now, I want to back up and talk to you about the zip code that we generate and the occupation. Why do we do that? So why do we not get full address? Well, because we get this question, so I'm going to go ahead and answer it. So Andrew, why don't y'all get the full address in case we can't get them on the phone? We could door knock them. Well, a lot of guys do telesales. I like the statewide lead. We have two leads. We have a statewide lead and we have a local lead. Okay. The statewide lead I like because you get more of them, you get them quicker, and a lot more extras seem to come in on those. So if you order 20, a lot of usually extra leads end up coming in, which those are free. We don't charge you for those. And but it puts you in the best position to succeed quicker. Whereas our local leads are within a 50-mile radius of the center of the zip code that you give us. And we give you the zip code to show you that it is a local lead, okay? The reason we don't get full address is because in the online journey for a life insurance lead, it actually makes no sense to ask them for the address. We did it, we tried it, we tested it. When you're doing a mortgage protection lead, you can say, hey, what's the address of the house you're wanting to protect? Okay, that's a relevant question to the mortgage protection lead. Well, these aren't mortgage protection leads. These are non-med life insurance leads. And so asking for address is completely irrelevant to them getting information about life insurance. So it's weird. So they abandon the page, which means you get less leads. And so we do the zip code to show you that the location is local. Now the occupation is very crucial. We're going to talk to you. I want to transition this conversation into how to work the lead. And one of the things that we'll publish and get you guys is a script that's working very well for agents. I've worked closely with a lot of producers, some Levinson agents, and with things that worked well for me in the past. And we've put together a script because how you handle the first call with these leads is everything, and how you handle the first 3 to 5 seconds is everything as well. So in other words, what we do is we want to position you, the agent, as an expert in the field that they filled out on the occupation. So let's use a teacher, for example. We get a lot of teachers respond to our advertisements. And so you would want to say, something to the effect of, hey, John, yeah, who's this? My name is Andrew. I'm just calling, I'm calling you back about the request that you had for $500,000 designed for teachers. How are you today? So you see how I'm very subtle, and we'll get into that, and we can do a whole nother call on the training and the approach of this, but that's crucial. We get the occupation because we want to present yourself, you, the agent, as an expert for people like them. So if it's a teacher, you say, hey, I specialize in working with educators, or I specialize in working with cosmetologists or hairstylists. We get a lot of hairstylists that respond. We get people of ministry that respond. Hey, great, man, I specialize in working with pastors. I noticed you requested $500,000, and we have a script, and so I'm kind of butchering it because I want to make sure I cover the content. But the point is that the reason we got to their occupation is because what we've actually found is that when someone hears that, hey, this guy works with people like me, it actually warms up the call. It drops barriers, which in sales, that's what you do. You drop barriers, right? You set people at ease. That's one of the greatest skill sets you can have in sales, is setting people at ease, right? Hey, this guy's trustworthy. I like this guy, and this guy's not going to take advantage of me, right? I want to hear what he has to say. We want to drop those barriers. We want to make sure people, and so if they are a person in ministry, a pastor or what have you, and they know you work with pastors, now they're like, there's a degree of, okay, I'm talking to the right people. I'm talking to the right guy. I'm talking to the right girl. And so that's why we gather occupation. It took a lot of testing for us to figure out how to position you as an expert for that person, for that agent, or for that audience, for that type of person. And so that's why we gather the occupation on our leads. Now, I want to give you a little bit of success with the Ringy platform. Ringy has been a phenomenal. it's great because when you've got an online generated lead, it's good to have some of your process of follow-up online as well, whether it's an SMS text message or whether it's an email follow-up. I like the Ringy system because I'm hearing feedback from agents. I had an agent the other day call me and say, he said, man, I booked 7 appointments and I haven't physically talked to one of these leads. 2 of them booked on my calendar through Ringy, and 5 of them I've booked through text message, just texting them back on the Ringy app. And so I'm just like, this is incredible. And honestly, you ever heard the statement, give the people what they want? People in America, if they fill out something online, they really do want it online. They want to get their answers. They want to do their research, but they want to, it's contactless, right? They want to be able to answer an email, shoot a quick text. Once they've warmed up, they'll gladly answer the phone with you. Now, we still have those leads. Obviously, the majority of them still, you're going to sell by just calling them, catching them on the phone. And we put best time of day to call. And so some of this stuff is common sense too. Like if you've got a teacher on your lead and it's in the middle of the school year, I probably wouldn't call them before 3 o'clock or 4, maybe even 4 o'clock, right? Because she's teaching, right? So so some of this stuff you have to use common sense. And so, but they'll give you a suggested time to call. My recommendation on that is you or the agent need to control your schedule. Call on your normal call sequences, call some in the morning, call some in the afternoon, call some in the evening. If you have a lead, you're like, man, I've called this lead 3 or 4 times, I can't get them. I might then pay a little bit more attention to the best time of day to call. But if you just do pay attention to where it says the best time of day to call, and we do it, then that's morning, afternoon, or evening. Okay, there's 3 categories. If you only pay attention to that, it'll kind of put you in prison as an agent to their schedules, and they might not even answer. So you need to just kind of make sure you go through your sequences. And what I love about Ringy is Ringy's going to track how many times you've called a lead. One of the biggest things that agents do struggle with in working a volume amount of leads over the years is they do have stones that are unturned or that are still covered, right? And so what Ringy does is they'll actually it'll make sure that you're working those leads effectively, efficiently, and you're like, oh man, I've only called that lead twice. I thought I called a lead at least 10 times, or 5 times, whatever. And so whereas before on the old systems, if you just had a spreadsheet, you're not really tracking as good how many times you've actually called out and reached out to a lead. And so that's basically the system. We have a non-med, it's very simple. It's a non-med life insurance lead. You're going to sell term, a lot of term with living benefits. You're going to sell probably some IULs. You're going to cross sell that, and you're going to sell some violent spins. It's a high intent process. And one of the biggest keys, I will tell you this, some guys ask me, say, Andrew, how do you sell over the phone? Because when I sold these in multiple states, and I sold over the phone. There was no face-to-face at all. And what you do is you just have to love and care about that person on that first call. John, I noticed you requested 500,000 on this. Can I ask you, John, how did you land at that number? And let John talk. Let him talk. Let him tell you why. Well, I got a mortgage. Oh, you have a mortgage? Okay, cool. Let me write that down. Now, John, do you have a spouse or co-borrower or somebody you want covered as well? Okay, great. I'm writing this. Okay, cool. Now, John, let me ask you a question. Have you ever bought private insurance before? Have you ever bought insurance outside of work? Because you've got 2 different types of people out there. You've got the 42-year-old John who maybe he's never bought a policy outside of work. He doesn't even understand how private insurance works. So now I'm gonna have to educate him on why it's important to own private insurance and why it's important to not have all your eggs in one basket at work, right? So I'm gonna handle that case a little differently. Or you've got the other John who's 42 who says, yeah, man, I'm in year 18 of my 20-year term. I just need to get another 20-year term. Okay, well, those are 2 different types of prospects. So when I'm calling, when I would call these leads, I would always want to know what's their insurance background, and then I go into their health and stuff like that. And so I do all of that on the first call because I want to do a 2-call close. I call once, I introduce myself. Hey, John, I'm following up with the online request for 500,000 designed for teachers. How are you today? Great, cool. John, how'd you land at 500,000? I tell them what to expect. I just need to get a little bit of information. At the end of this call, I'll be able to tell you if I can help you or not. And then we dive into, why did you request 500,000? You need coverage on your wife or your spouse or your husband. Then we go into their health. And so what I'm doing is I'm doing a lot of the stuff that you guys would do in the home. I'm doing on that first call, that discovery, okay? What I'm doing though is I'm building trust. If I hear a dog barking in the background, hey, I heard that dog barking. What kind of dog do you have? Oh, cool, that's awesome. We'll talk about your dog for like 2 seconds. They don't really care, but just build rapport. I know this is sales 101 stuff, and some of you guys are probably rolling your eyes like this is ridiculous, like this is obvious. Well, a lot of guys are not doing this. A lot of guys, they're struggling with selling over the phone because you have commission breath and you just want to make a sale. Well, this is a real human being working in a middle class scenario. They want to be loved. They want to be treated with respect. And I'm saying if you'll just do that on that first call, I call this in our training building a virtual relationship. They don't know who you are. So dive into the information they gave you, get some more information, tell them how you're going to help them, tell them what to expect. And what I have found is the natural progression of the conversation is John, hey, listen, I'm gonna run some numbers. I gotta talk to a couple underwriters. I know you said you were taking metformin, but you used to take it, now you don't. I'm gonna talk to a couple underwriters. I'm gonna see what company's gonna be the best, because I wanna make sure that if we do find something that meets your needs and fits your budget, I wanna make sure that the underwriting's gonna be good too, and that they're gonna say yes if we do apply. And so, John, I'm gonna do a little bit of homework. I'm gonna talk to some underwriters. I'm gonna run your health profile by them just to make sure we're good, and then I'll follow you. I'll call you back and we'll follow up and we'll go over that stuff. But the natural progression on that second call should be, okay, great. Now, how do we get started? And so that's how I got into phone telesales back in the day, was because it was the next step. I've already built a virtual relationship. I've already delivered them the information that they requested. I found a good company. We talked about living benefits. It's got great, all those good benefits built into that plan. And the natural progression at that point is, okay, great, Andrew, how do we get started? And so then I was like, yeah, okay. So we do an app over the phone. And so the reason guys are struggling with telesales or transitioning from local face-to-face sales to telesales is not because they're not good at that. It's because they're not investing in that first call. And the second reason is they're not working as much. You have to get on the phone. A lot of people don't realize that when you go from field sales to telesales, you're gonna be on the phone, okay? A lot more than you ever have been. And so it is definitely a transition, but you can do it. And you can make a lot of money for your family, and you can get a lot of leads in the virtual market. But we do both, okay? I have agents that order us that only do local. I have a lot that only do virtual, okay? And so, but I think that the industry is going virtual. I think everyone on the call would agree with me. And I think honestly, giving the people what they want, the average American don't want you coming over, right? They just handle it over the phone, get it done. You make good money, they get a good policy, everybody wins. And so that's what's working well for agents. Agents that are investing on that first call are getting that close over the phone or the in-home appointment. I'm gonna answer this, and I'll take some questions. Some of you are saying, okay, Andrew, I only do local. How do I get the address? It's very simple. When you invest on this first call, this discovery call, you've dove into, do they have insurance at work? You dove into all this stuff, their health profile, everything. At the end, just use kind of like a Columbo close. Oh, by the way, real quick, what's your address? They've already agreed to meet with you. They've already, maybe even set a time. So, okay, oh, great, what's your address? Am I looking for a greenhouse, blue house? What am I looking for? Okay, cool. And then you just get it at the end, okay? It's very simple, but I'm not gonna ask for their address until I've built a virtual relationship with them. I've invested in that call. They're invested in me. They feel comfortable with me. I'm not gonna get that address anywhere but other than the end of that first call, okay? Bill, I know I talked fast, but I didn't want to take too much of you guys' time.
Andrew, that was great.
I'll be happy to answer.
Yeah, just a couple things, and then we'll go over some of the questions. But can you explain to everyone when they receive that lead? And by the way, if they're in Ringy, obviously the leads are integrated. If they're not, they just get an email with a spreadsheet, or how does that work?
That's correct. They're going to get, so our foundational delivery is going to be an email with a spreadsheet. They'll have a master Google sheet, which is, that's the same Google sheet. They don't get a new one. Like on their second order, we just add to the first Google sheet.
Add to it. Okay. And then what information is on that prospect, let's say?
Great.
What information do they receive? Yep.
Okay. First name and last name, occupation, desired amount of coverage, like 100,000, 250, 500, a million, whatever. We're going to get their age, the state they live in, their zip code, email, phone number, and best time of day to call.
Okay, perfect. Perfect. Okay, and they're mainly Facebook generated. Is that correct?
Facebook and Instagram is where the majority of our leads come from. I'd say the majority they obviously do come from Facebook. But
Okay.
yeah, that's correct.
And basically a landing page they clicked on, filled out, and then you guys do your filtering, make sure it's legit, and then boom, it becomes an official lead, right?
Yeah, so how
Pretty much.
our system is built, we actually build specific websites for each of our customers. So if John Smith orders leads from us, we're gonna build an entire marketing flow for John Smith, and 100% of the leads that we generate on that web presence is going to go to John. Like, they can't go to another agent. They can't go to like, our leads can't be shared with another agent because we build an online flow for each of our customers. So it's singularly focused. That way it can't be, John Smith's forms can't be sent to, Bill Levinson's forms. Okay. Or email, excuse me. Like, we can't send another agent's leads. Now, let me bring up a good point. Let's say you're in Florida and we're marketing to Florida, and you get a Texas lead. That the only way that happens with our system is sometimes people will share the ads on Facebook, and then their friends list can see it. That's one hole in their system that they haven't fixed, in my opinion. I don't even know if they know it's a problem. I've told them, but so that means their cousin or their friend could see it and respond. So it's rare. I mean, it does happen. If you get a Texas lead, but you're in Florida, we're going to credit that lead. We're going to make sure you get a credit.
Love it. Perfect. No. That's great info. And I love the fact that it's your platform. You're there to help the agents, and if there's a credit situation, obviously you make sure it's legit, and then credit the agent, which is a huge part of the issues we've had in the past.
Sure.
So that should put everybody's mind at ease. Okay, Andrew, the other Andrew P. Do we have any questions that you want to bring up now, or do you want to get them answered at the end? Anything good while we have the Andrew from Game Time?
Yes, I have a few great questions, and I'll knock out what we just talked about it, but just reiterate. I have a few agents asking about the return policy or replacement policy. Can you just hit on that real quick? What is the metrics that go into a replaceable lead or not? And then we'll move into the next question.
So if it's a local lead, we're going to credit the lead if it's over 50 miles from the center of the zip code that you give us. Now, we keep in mind that that's a very rare occasion. Like, it's very rare that a lead, now, it may come out of state, we're going to credit it or whatever. If you're a virtual order, like you ordered all the state of Texas and you end up with an Oklahoma lead, we would credit that. And then on all leads, we credit if it's an incorrect phone number. So we don't get a lot of incorrect phone numbers. It does come in waves. Like, you may get one or two. I have a lot of orders that have none. I have some orders that have maybe a little bit more, 3 or 4 or whatever. But I've been doing this a long time, and if I notice that there's a pattern, so what we do is we try to verify those phone numbers are in fact incorrect, and then we'll credit you additional leads. We don't refund your credit card. So if you order 10 leads, you have 3 credits, we're going to try to send you 13 leads. Okay, and so I don't have any. It's been very rare where I've had an agent abuse us in our credit, and I'll just cut them off and say, because we've done, I mean, at this point, over 1 million leads, and so I know the patterns, right? I know the realities of it. And so if an agent is trying to abuse us on our credit process, then we'll just cut them off and not allow them to order again.
Okay. All right, Andrew, what's next question?
Yep. So next question is from Edward. He's asking, can the leads be paused or resumed? Is there a dashboard? Like, what's the process to, like, they order, let's say 10 leads or 20 leads, and you said they start trickling in. So does that just come to them in a certain way? Like, I know you said you can upload them to Ringy, but do you have your own dashboard? Can they be paused or stopped? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, we built a custom software that was it was an agent software for that reason, and it was a mess. It became more cumbersome. I was having more of my time devoted to managing a software than it was running a lead company. And so we went back to our original delivery strategy. So how it works is we operate on a per order basis. You order leads, my team goes to work and building those online workflows. And within typically the next morning is when we start running ads. Okay. So if you order leads, regardless of the time of day, the next morning we're going to run ads. Okay. For your lead order. We do not pause orders. It's very rare. I mean, I have a couple guys, you know, hey, my aunt died, whatever. And then, you know, I need to go to the funeral. Can you pause it? Yes, I'll do it. But we have at the volume that we do, we don't have our job. We try to keep everything very simple. You order, we fulfill, and we're going to try to get those to you as fast as possible. So then you might get 2 or 3 a day. There might be some days you get 1 lead. There's going to be days you get 8 leads. Some that if you do virtual, we may do your whole order in 1 day. But pausing, we're not going to pause orders. So if you order, we're going to try to get your order filled as fast as possible.
That's perfect. We get it, and some based on our conversation, some might come the same day, some might come over the next 2, 3, 4 days. Is that generally?
Some orders, if you're in some local areas are tough. It may take a week or so to get your full order in because it's a tough area.
And then when you say virtual, that's statewide, and then of course local is within 50 miles, right?
Right. And the reason I like virtual is because it is a more consistent lead flow typically and faster. And if you're thinking like a businessman, if I'm an agent, I'm thinking like a businessman, I can work more leads in a period of time if they do come in quicker. Right. Yeah. And so where the local guy he might get a little bit more premium out of his batch of leads because he's physically present and sees the leads, but the virtual guy sees more people. So
couldn't agree more.
And I'm telling you, at the end of the day, the guy that sees more people is going to sell more. He's going to sell more premium. I promise you.
Plus, with Ringy working in the background on an automated platform, it's a no-brainer. I cannot push that enough. That Ringy platform with these leads are a win-win.
And I'll say this too: if you're having a bad week, you can turn it into if you're working virtual. Okay, if you're having a bad week, you can turn it into a good week. If you're having a good week, you can actually probably turn it into a great week. And here's how. You order leads Sunday night. Monday morning we run. We start running ads. Leads come in Monday, Tuesday. By Wednesday, you've been calling leads. You're kind of having a slower week. Well, you can actually order leads again on Wednesday, and leads start coming in on Thursday, Friday, Saturday. And you finish the week. You turned a bad week into a good week. Or you ordered, say, 15, 20 leads, whatever, on Monday. You're having an awesome week, right? Maybe you order 20 or 15 or 20 more, and now you've turned that $5,000, $7,000 week into a $15,000 week, because you kept the gas on the pedal. So it's hard to do that in the local business, the local lead flow, but with the virtual, I can get an extra 20 leads on Wednesday or order them on Wednesday and having a lot of extra leads to work the last half of the week.
And you're saving $5 a lead too on top of it.
You save, and you may do what if you do a push week? See, I love doing this as an agent. I would have to play games with myself. So, all right, I'm gonna do a push week, right? I'm gonna do 2 weeks. I'm gonna go like crazy, right? And so it's hard to do push weeks if you're just doing local because they come in slower. They can come in fast, but they typically come in slower. So you're gonna work less leads over a given period of time.
That's right. And you're saving money, so makes sense. All right, Andrew, one more question, and then we'll wrap up here. Do you have anything else for Andrew from the lead program? Andrew P?
Yes. Yep. I got something here. It looks like, so we have another question asking, can you let the prospect know the info from the agent that will be contacting them? I know some lead vendors will say, Johnny from, your zip code will be calling you, thank you for your submission. What do they get any notification of who's going to be reaching out to them?
Great question. I'll answer it 2 ways. Can we? Yes. Do we? No. The cool thing about Ringy is you have that ability. You have that ability with Ringy. You can. I don't know. I know you guys have already set up your sequences probably with Ringy, but if you have each of you have your Ringy subscription, you can change that initial text message to be a picture of you and your family and say, hey, my name's Andrew, this is my wife, Tamara. I'm a real person. That's what I do. I help people like you, and I'm excited to talk to you, for 5 minutes, whatever. Like, however you want to do it. But, like, if you have Ringy, then you can control that yourself.
Yeah, it warms up the prospect basically to who's calling. Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Love it. Okay, Andrew, we're going to let you go. And by the way, while everyone's on with us live, we're going to host just basically a one-on-one training for an hour, okay, just on the leads and the scripts and what works and what doesn't. And we're going to have a real life agent on. So you're going to see an invite for that go out to your inbox. So keep your eyes peeled for that. But I would definitely encourage you to try at least one or two orders. Again, you're saving $10 per lead. So you're looking at $35 a lead for local, and then 30 are the virtual or statewide leads. So again, you're saving $10 off the retail price by being an active Levinson agent. Minimum order of 10 leads. Definitely worth a shot, in my opinion. And if it's not for you, fine. Andrew doesn't keep charging your credit card. It doesn't work like that. As you go and make these purchases for each order, that's when he charges. So you don't have to worry about every month someone hitting your credit card.
That's right.
Okay, good stuff. Andrew, thanks again. So we have a couple more slides. We're going to wrap this up and then have our giveaway. Andrew, if we can go to get access now. I know a lot of agents want to get started right away, so let's share that. So number one, you do have to be appointed with at least one carrier. Okay, we don't charge you for that. Obviously, whatever the lead cost is, you pay for it, which has nothing to do with us. We just pass along the savings. This is what's going to be in your inbox tonight, but you can also go to our website right now to get appointed. Just click on My Contracting, follow the yellow arrow, and then, of course, if you're already appointed with one of our carriers, we will match or most of the time beat your existing commission grid, plus you get leads for contracting or cash for contracting with your first paid application. Okay, so we're also going to do some other incentives built around our newest lead program with Andrew. So you'll see that also in the next month or two. Okay, next up is we have a lead center, basically a microsite built just for our various lead programs. They're all offered at discounted rates. We have anywhere from prospecting books to shared leads to older leads. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. We even have free orphan leads once you write a minimum premium with us of at least $10,000 in 12 months. So there's lots and lots of different strategies out there. And by the way, if you're using your own strategy and it's working great, good for you. Okay, like I said earlier a few times, we don't make a penny on this stuff. Okay, the only time we make money is when you place a policy. That's it. So whatever works for you, great. It's my job to go out and find what's working for other agents and share it with you all. And that's exactly what we've done today. That's what it all comes down to. The next slide, we're going to show you some other lead programs that are available. Okay, when we were talking about Ringy, okay, these leads, they're called second chance mortgage mailer leads. These work awesome. Okay, and the reason why they work so great is because think about this. You're coming in, let's say it's a six to 9 month old lead. Okay, you're not number 1 through 10. Okay, when someone just refied or just bought a new house, right? You see those first mortgage protection mailers come in. And so many people are so tied up with, furniture. We got to clean the rugs and the AC ducts and blah, blah, blah. A lot of times it's good to go back in 6 months. And for just a few bucks a lead, you can be the superstar that gets the case. And then what you do, load all of those into Ringy and let Ringy do the work for you. And you literally have your calendar and you open it up and there's set appointments, right? From these prospects saying, hey, Tuesday, 4 o'clock, I want to call. Thursday, 7 a.m., I want to call. And these are all calls or calendar appointments from prospects that are ready to talk insurance. So the system works great. In fact, I'm going to share with you in a minute the Ringy trainings that you definitely should be on. Even if you're not a subscriber yet, you should definitely be on these calls. On the bottom are the orphans I was talking about earlier. So as soon as you place 10 grand in paid premium within 12 months, boom, you're in. You get a fresh batch of orphans. We now have 5 different carriers across the country, and we have thousands of these, by the way. Okay. Top right corner is Insure Me Now Direct. We also have social media marketing. We also have coaching where we can show you how to build your own ad. These ads that Andrew was speaking about, okay? We have our own version. Obviously, it's not his entire lead program, right? But it's a similar way to drive eyeballs to your social media and your website. So we can also discuss that. And then we have our mailer programs are amazing, especially if you're working in the annuity side, estate planning, mortgage protection, final expense, all the above. Some great co-op deals as well. Check out the microsite when you can, and all of the info's there, or just call one of our marketers anytime. Okay, I want to end here at 4 o'clock, so just a couple other things, and then we'll ask our question of the day. So this was the official podcast that we launched Ringy on with the CEO. This is a great 1-hour training that will teach you and show you what this Ringy CRM tool is about and how it can benefit you in your business. This is a game changer, okay? I'm not saying this lightly. This is Ian's comment on Ringy when we first announced this. Never seen a CRM like this one before. I can't imagine any telesales agent not utilizing that local caller ID feature. Ringy is a beast, and their customer service line is the best. I'm telling you, it works. Think of it like this. It's just an autopilot assistant, okay, that will call, text, and email your prospects until they become leads. That's what it all comes down to. That's it. Okay, and yes, that's the simple black and white version. There's a lot more in depth once you dive in, but that is the 100-foot overview, and it works. What we did is put together a 4-part training on the right-hand side. So what you should do as an agent is write down these dates and register. We're going to include the registration link and the thank you email. We pick a different topic, and then it's me and the CEO or chief of marketing on the call. So again, lots of nuggets there. You should definitely be on that. I don't care what lead program you're working, or if you're not working a lead program, doesn't matter. This will change the way that you run your business forever. I'm telling you right now, well worth it. Okay, agent training events. So that's what you're on right now. The bottom section, that is our weekly live training. So just real quick, make a note. Tomorrow we have handpicked our top IUL with living benefits, one of my favorite guest speakers, and you know him, by the way. I'm not going to give away the surprise. Tomorrow, 3 p.m. On the bottom, we are going over our Q2 annuity updates with our special industry guest speaker, Chris, who you all know because he's on our quarterly calls for annuities only on the 9th next week. So make sure you register for that one as well. And then Agency Automator, we made a change here. So Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, Kevin, our programmer, is going to host those calls at 2 p.m. Last, we have our Positive Tuesday quote and our question of the day. So real quick, this is an important one. The greatest pleasure, success, and happiness in my life came from something that cannot be bought. Never forget. We have to have gratitude. At the end of the day, when Andrew was talking about, share your story with these leads, these prospects, okay? And, you have to relate to them. When you're talking about your dog and you hear their dog barking, or let's say they're a teacher and you start to talk about how you work with teachers, be genuine, make it heartfelt, okay? And don't lie, don't BS. Be authentic, be yourself, and you will get the sale. And I feel like at the end of the day, it's all about gratitude and being grateful, and we can't ever forget that. Question of the day, whoever answers first and correctly wins. So make sure your little fingers are on the keyboard and you're ready to go, because you got to be quick. Question is, on Carrie's Corner, the last one he did, volume 21, I hope you read it. Tell me the topic. Tell me the name of Carrie's Corner, the last one he did, May, volume 21. What was the name of Carrie's Corner, the topic of the May edition? You tell me the name, you win. Andrew, do we have today's winner? Who was first and who was correct?
We do not have any correct responses yet, or responses at this point. So just waiting right now.
Whoever's closest, tell me the name of Carrie's Corner, the topic name. volume 21, the one we just sent out at the end of May. Whoever's closest wins. Andrew?
Okay, we have somebody now. First answer, closest answer here is Armando D. Armando D.
Armando, congratulations. Carrie is here for you in the toughest of times. That's what the editorial is about. We'll also include this in today's thank you email. I just want to thank everybody once again. I hope you walked away with a nugget. I hope you give this a shot. And I hope between these leads and Ringy, it changes your year for the better. You help yourself, your family, and all these prospects out there. Let's have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow, 3 p.m. Eastern. Thanks again.